Okay, so Wolves currently eighth in the Premier League, obviously have an amazing season. No one's criticising that. We all would have taken it at the start of the season. But ultimately, there's nothing wrong with criticising. You have to criticise. You have to be rational. And look, Wolves probably won't drop below eighth, but they probably won't go above eighth this season. It feels like we're kind of at an impasse now. It feels like we've really got nothing to play for. And look, this isn't me criticising the players or anything. But ultimately, it feels like we kind of hit a ceiling a bit. Obviously, our defence has carried us this season. Nothing wrong with that. But when Nelson Semedo gets injured, when Reina Nuri drops out the side, and Kilman and Jersey start making errors, you can't just rely on having a great away record, having the fourth best. Teams that have good defences always have a good away record, but our home record's bad. 13th best in the league. In terms of goals against, obviously fourth best in the league. That's great, but actual goals scored, we're second bottom. you know, it, or, that's at home anyway. Overall, we're third, but. So I think it's fair to say now at this point we've kind of got to look at why that's the case. Wolves third bottom for goals, third bottom for shots, fourth bottom for shots on target. The shots we are having are from really far out. Like only Leeds, who shoot from basically any angle, have shots further out. And that's a concern because we're not being able to get the ball close to the box. So I think everyone can accept that now our attack is a clear issue, and I think that's been highlighted over the last few weeks when the defence isn't there to bail it out. And I think it's a fair enough question now to go, is it the players? Is it the formation? Is it the manager? So I thought I'd go through each of those three categories. I think that's fair enough. And I think it's fair to start with the players. I think that's a fair enough place to start. And I think you kind of have to compare it to other players in the league. Are they pulling their weight, so to speak? So this is on FBref if you want to go on it yourself. And this is shot creating actions, which is dribbling, crosses, shots that lead to goals or shots on target. And obviously, some of the elite players are at the top. Trent Alexander-Arnold gets loads of shot creating actions through crosses. Bruno Fernandes through assists. Mohamed Salah through goals, etc. A lot of the elite players are at the top, right? But when you look at the Premier League, there's obviously some. Of course, Wolves aren't going to have players right at the top, so we're not on the elite side. When you look at shot creating actions, this is literally all players in the Premier League, by the way, that have had one. I think there's 400 maybe. Yeah, it's about 400. And if you look at Wolves and where our highest players are for shot creating actions, we've got no one in the top 10. Okay, that's fair enough. No one in the top 20. Okay, that's fair enough. Top 30? No. Let's keep going. Top 45? Nope. 51. Raul Jimenez at number 51 with 51 shot creating actions is our most, I guess, central. Like players who have shot creating actions, players that just get involved. Like it's a pretty simple metric. And you look at some of the players that are ahead of, and actually let's drop down. Adama Traore is the second on that list. He's not even at the club anymore. Number 56. And you have to keep scrolling to find the next Wolves player. Where's the next one? Ruben Neves at 90. So in the top, 90, 100 players in the league for shot creating actions, we've got 3 players. For a side that 8th is concerning, even in the top 50. And it's not like there aren't players from bad clubs. Josh King's there, Ben Rama, Rodrigo at Leeds, Matthias Klick's there, Pascal Gross is there, Dwight McNeil's 30th or 31st, Luke Shaw's a left back and he's there, John McGinn's there, Emmanuel Dennis. It's not like it's all just elite players in that top bracket. Same for shots. If you're looking at just shots, for a side that are 8th in the league, you'd expect us to have a few players in there. Raul Jimenez is 25th there again. Players like Leandro Trossard, fucking Mikel Antonio, Dennis, Ivan Toney are there, and you have to keep scrolling to find the second one. You keep going. Ruben Neves, who's basically a defensive midfielder, is our second highest at number 53. You have to keep scrolling again to find Daniel Podence down there at number 95. We're just not getting shots off, and or we're not creating anything. And when you compare it to other players in the league and clubs that aren't as big as us, or aren't as doing as well as us, or don't even have the budgets that we have, that also have players in these lists. When you look at key passes, which is a pass that leads to a shot, again, you have to keep scrolling to João Moutinho, who's our first entry at number 39. It's ridiculous. You have to keep scrolling down to Daniel Podence in number 55 with 26 key passes. And then Raul Jimenez at number 61. Like, when you look at our players in the context of the rest of the league, it's ridiculous how little representation we have in attacking metrics compared to other players in the league. And opposition clubs will look at this stuff and just go, there's no obvious threat. And it's not really that, it's not going to be concerning or scary. And even when you look at our players individually, it just feels like all of our players only offer one thing, like one outstanding thing. Like, Obviously, Raul Jimenez has been our main goal scorer this season, but I think he offers defensive work. He's good in the air. His aerial wins have actually gone up from last season. So I think this myth of he's not good in the air anymore is a bit unfair. He offers defensive stuff. He also offers a physical threat, but that's kind of it. Hwang obviously has been really clinical this season. He's got 5 goals from an XG of 3. I think he's only had 10 shots. So he's been clinical. But that's kind of it. He doesn't offer anything on the ball. He doesn't create anything. I think he's in the bottom 1 percentile for progressive passes. That's terrible, man, for a winger. Trincao again offers defensive work. He's kind of jacked in a lot of defensive metrics, but that's kind of it. He's not really doing anything else. And I think fans are kind of getting sick of him. And I like Trincao in some aspects, but I can understand why people are getting annoyed with him now. He's had a chance. Podence, I think, has been a probably form attacker, but even still, he's clearly a chance creator, but it's kind of it. He doesn't really do anything defensively. He's not a goal scorer. He's got 5 goals since he's been here, and he's been here 2.5 years. And then I think Fabio Silva's, it's too limited of a sample size to really judge, but the one thing you could say about Fabio Silva is he does get shots off when he's on the pitch. And he does get touches in promising areas in the penalty area, even though he's playing for a bad side. So for me, that suggests that he's got good movement. But when you look, and obviously Adama Traore is not here anymore. So when you look at our players, they're all all our attacking players anyway, it feels like they're all very limited to one niche. And when you compare them to other players in the league, in key attacking metrics, we don't have any representation. So when you look at it like that, you could say it's the players' fault we're not scoring goals. However, you could also make the argument that the reason we don't have players in these metrics is because of the coaching. So let's go on to Bruno Lage. Obviously, Bruno's only been here 6 months, so you don't really want to criticise him too much. But do you know when Johnny Phillips wrote that article like a few months ago saying Bruno Lage doesn't really have an identity yet? And he got a lot of criticism for it at the time because we weren't winning. And I still don't 100% agree with it, but you can understand why people might think that. In terms of possession, Wolves are middling. We're not some possession side like Leeds or Brighton. We're not really an out-and-out counter-attacking side like some of the teams below. Okay, fine. We're not really a great pressing side. We're not a bad pressing side either. We're kind of just middling. In terms of crosses, we don't really cross. But, when you look at a lot of metrics, it doesn't feel like we're outstanding at anything. Even like bad sides have some things where they're really outstanding at. It doesn't feel like we really have that yet. And it feels like Bruno hasn't really been able to carve out a specific strength apart from the fact we've got an overperforming goalkeeper and an overperforming back 5. So I guess that could be a concern for Bruno. And then when it comes to the formation, it feels like it's kind of tired out as well. Obviously we've played this 3-4-3 for most of the season, and it's been effective. I don't think anyone could criticise that. We've been 8th. But it's relied on defenders bailing us out and Jan Martino and Ruben Neves having to, basically play every minute for the 5th year in a row, whatever it is. And when you've got 3 players up front and none of them are really performing, it feels like a waste of a body. And I think I was surprised after the Tottenham game where I thought the midfield 3 worked really well. He kind of just dropped that. And with this back 5, I think it works when you've got Reine New and you've got Semedo. When you look at progressive passes in the league, Wolves are actually okay. Whereas when you look at every other attacking stat, we're terrible. And most of that is through fullbacks. When you look at most of our players who have good progression numbers, most of them are fullbacks and centre-backs in comparison to other players in the league. But obviously it's a drop-off when you have Marcel and Keanu Herver in there. And he's changed the fullbacks for some reason. Obviously Semedo for injury, and Marcel's kind of just become the number 1 all of a sudden, which I think is a bit weird. But I don't really think with those fullbacks and all the attackers are underperforming, I don't really see the point in having 3 attackers. And I think when it comes to the formation now, Bruno's at the point where we're not going to drop below 8th, probably, and we're not going to finish above 8th. And this isn't working. So it feels like Bruno might as well just kind of treat the end of the season as the rest of mini pre-season. For me, he's got 2 options. Either you think, fuck it, all the attackers are shit, drop 1 and pack out the midfield. This is what I would do. I think it's a bit drastic to switch to a back 4 mid-season, considering we've never played it before. I think Neves actually plays better in a midfield 3. I think it gives him more time. It allows it to dictate play a bit more. The only downside is Dendoncker would have to come in, but even then you could say he maybe would offer you a goal threat. Maybe that would alleviate some pressure on Keanu Herver, who I assume is going to have to be our right back. I know Bruno had a go at him, but he's going to have to play. You can't just play, we've got Watford on Thursday, then Leeds on Sunday. Johnny's not going to be able to play 290 minutes. Keanu Herver's going to have to play minutes, assuming his injury's not that bad. This might help him. And then it feels like you kind of just have to gamble on Podence and Raul just producing something and pack out the midfield behind. We're struggling to get up the pitch. All our attacking metrics suggest that. The fact that, we're second bottom in the league for shots close to goal. We're struggling to get up the pitch, and sometimes throwing loads of attackers isn't the way to do that. Having a higher line, having a few more midfielders can kind of carry you up the pitch a bit might be the way to do that. Maybe just throw Luke Cundle in there. Who knows? But I think the 3-4-3 is kind of when your defense is kind of starting to drop off a bit and your attack isn't performing. You kind of have to alleviate one of those issues. And I think playing two midfielders doesn't really work. That doesn't really do that. Obviously, the alternative is to play a back four. I can't see Wolves doing this. I'd be stunned if Bruno did this. I don't think we have the personnel to do it. I don't think we've been coached enough to do it. Reina profiles like a wing back. So does Semedo. So does Keanu Herver. None of our centre backs have ever played in a back four at a high level. I think as a midfield two, I don't think Martino Neves is physical enough. We're already not that dominant in the air. So if you drop one of the centre backs, you lose that even more. Especially if you drop Sace or Kilman. So you kind of you're forced into playing Dendoncker then just to have a bit of height for set pieces. So then you have to drop one of Moutinho or Neves. So then you only have one real good on-the-ball midfielder to get to those four attackers. And then even then, it's not like our attackers are performing. And it's not like you can pick a clear front four anyway. So overall, I think Bruno obviously deserves a bit of criticism for this. He did have a full pre-season. He's got attacking options and he's not really been able to create a clear attack. It feels like the formations have started to dry up a bit and it feels like he might need to change that at this point. But then our attackers compared to every other attacker in the league or even just player in the league are underperforming. So it feels like Wolves have hit a bit of an impasse. And it'd be interesting to see what Bruno does to change it really, because it feels like we're starting to run out of ideas a bit and you can't rely on a defence that... Our defence has been great this season, but defence can only take you so far. And, when that starts to falter a bit, you need something to fall back on. And our attack is relegation level. Like it's relegation level. That's not like a particularly, divisive thing to say. We've got the third worst attack in the league in terms of goals scored. And it's not, and we're underperforming a little bit, but even then we should only have 28. If XG was going to favour, we'd have 28 goals. In the league, that would put us on level with Everton, who are 17th. So I don't know. I think that's just all I have to say about it. I don't really see what Bruno does. It feels like he's going to have to change the formation or kind of come up with some coaching miracle, or it could be a pretty boring end to the season. If you enjoyed the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, peace.